Hello everyone, welcome to video lecture series on programming with C. In this video, we'll study functions in C. What is a function? A function is a set of statements enclosed in curly brackets which can be called n number of times. Functions are building blocks of any programming language. We can divide a program into a set of functions. Functions provide modularity as well as reusability. Once we write a function, we can call it n number of times. The advantage of function is we don't have to rewrite the logic again and again. Let's consider an example. Say I want to add two numbers. It's very fine. I'll declare two variables a and b, and then I'll write third variable c is equal to a plus b. Let's say now I want to perform addition of two numbers 100 times. Now in such cases, we have to write 100 expressions. How can we generalize this scenario? What we can do is we can define a function to add two numbers, and then we can use a loop to change the values and call the function 100 times. So let's see how to use functions in C. There are three main aspects of function. The first one is function declaration. The function declaration consists of name of the function, return type, and optional parameter list. The function name is the name of the function which is used throughout the program whenever it needs to be called. The parameter list is optional. It is the number of parameters we want to use for processing in this particular function. The return type is the value that we want to return from this particular function. On the basis of return type, we can have two types of functions. A function which returns a value. We must have to specify a return statement and return a value of the appropriate data type. Whereas, if a function doesn't return a value, we don't have to specify a return statement, but such functions should be declared with void keyword. So, if we specify data type, that's the return type of the function, but if the function doesn't return a value, it must be declared with the keyword void. After function declaration, we need to define the body of the function, also known as function definition. The body of the function consists of set of statements used for processing. After processing, we may return value or may not return value depending on the return type. We can separate the function declaration from function definition. But if we want to use a function in C, it must be declared before its use. So let's see how to make use of functions in C. I'll explain a very simple example for addition of two numbers. So let's say I want to define a function which adds two integers. So there are two parts, the function declaration part and the body of the function part. As per the function declaration, we need to specify the name of the function. I'm giving this function name as addition. I'm passing two parameters, num1 and num2, both of integer data type. Since I'll be performing the addition and I want to return the added value, the return type for the function defined is int. The body of the function will include return num1 plus num2. The parameters defined inside the function declaration are known as formal parameters. So we have defined the function, we have declared the signature of the function. Let's call it. So to call this, the third aspect of function is calling a function. In order to call a function, we have to write the program. It can be called from main function, or it can be called from any other function. So let's write one program with one variable a is equal to 20, then b is equal to 30, and then what I'm doing, I'm calling the function add a comma b, and at the same time I'm passing I'm printing the value of result using a printf statement. I have to return 0 and then the closing curly bracket. This is how we can call a function from a program. How this program is executed. Now there are two memory spaces. One, the program memory space, and the second, function memory space. If we look at this particular code, first int a is equal to 20 is executed. Upon execution of this line, memory will be allocated for variable a, and in that location 20 will be stored. The next line will be executed, which is b is equal to 30, and memory will be allocated in the main program space for b with value 30. Next, we are calling add a comma b. What happens when I call the function? When I call the function, a separate memory space for function is created, or in other words, function is loaded in memory, and the function body is executed separately. There would be certain memory space allocation for the function, and now we have formal parameters which are defined as num1 and num2. The parameters defined in the function call are known as actual parameters, whereas the parameters defined in the function definition or declaration are known as formal parameters. When the function is loaded, the first thing that happens is the actual parameters are copied into formal parameters. So we have num1 separately allocated and the value of a is copied into num1. Same way we have num2 separately allocated and the value of b is copied into num2. Then we proceed with the function body, and what function body is doing? Function body is returning a num1 plus num2. When this statement is executed, the resulting value is returned back to the calling program. The resulting value is returned back to the calling program. What happens to this allocation? As soon as you return a value from the function is automatically deallocated. So there is a considerable overhead, processing overhead of allocation and deallocation with functions, and this is one of the disadvantage of functions. Once this line is executed, what we will get? We'll get the result value printed on the screen, and then return statement will be executed and the program execution will stop. So there are three key things that you have to remember. One, a function declaration, then the function definition and function call. Once the function is declared, it can be called any number of times. When a function is called, the actual parameters are copied into the formal parameters and the body of function gets executed. If the function returns the value is returned back to the calling program. This is how we can use functions in C. Thanks a lot.